In every corner of the world, there are secrets, stories that exist beyond understanding. Tonight, we uncover three terrifying haunted tales: the endless IKEA, the hotel floor that never ended, the subway platform beneath the station. This is episode 134 of Dynamic Dark. Put on your headphones and let the fear begin. Today's first story is the endless IKEA. A group of three friends, James Walker, Daniel Carter, and Michael Reed, entered the IKEA right before closing time, just to quickly buy one thing. At first, everything looked completely normal. Bright lights, clean aisles, and the usual quiet store atmosphere filled with soft announcements playing in the background. But after a few minutes, something started to feel off. No matter how far they walked, the aisles kept repeating. The same showroom setups appeared again and again, identical, like the building was looping itself. They tried to find the exit, but every sign they followed led them deeper inside the store instead. Their phones slowly lost signal one by one. Then the announcements stopped completely. Even the staff had disappeared without any explanation. The store felt larger now. Not physically changing in front of them, but somehow stretching when they weren't looking. And then they noticed it. Between the endless shelves in the distance, tall black figures standing completely still, watching them from the darkness. Every aisle looked the same, but the building felt bigger than before. Like it was stretching when I wasn't looking. At first, we thought we were just walking in circles. The same furniture displays kept repeating again and again, identical lighting, identical empty sections. Nothing felt different, but something still felt wrong. The distance between each section started increasing. What felt like a short walk earlier now took much longer. It was like the store was slowly expanding itself while we were inside it. We tried to stay together and mark our path, but even that stopped working. Every turn led us back into similar-looking aisles, as if the layout was shifting when we weren't looking directly at it. The worst part was the silence. No staff. No announcements. No other customers. Just the sound of our own footsteps slowly fading into the endless space. And then we realized, it wasn't that we were lost in the IKEA. It was that the IKEA was getting bigger around us. Then I started noticing them, tall black figures standing between the shelves. Completely still. Watching. At first I thought it was just my eyes adjusting to the lighting. The IKEA felt darker now, like the shadows between the aisles were getting deeper. Every section looked the same, every turn felt identical, and that's when I saw it again. Between two shelves, a tall black figure standing perfectly still. No movement at all. Just there. Watching us. I stopped and told James Walker, Daniel Carter, and Michael Reed, but when we all looked back, it was already gone. Like it had never been there in the first place. We tried to convince ourselves it was just our imagination, but the feeling didn't go away. Because after that moment, it started happening again. Every few aisles, we would notice them. Sometimes farther away, sometimes closer, always between the shelves. Always silent. Always watching. And the worst part was, they never walked. They never chased us. They were just there, like they had always been inside the store. I blinked, and they were closer. But they never moved. At least not when I was looking. At first I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me. The lighting in the IKEA felt harsher now, like it was flickering more than before. Every aisle looked longer, every shadow felt deeper. But when I focused on the shelves ahead, I noticed something impossible. One of them was closer. Not by walking. Not by running. Just closer. Standing between the furniture sections, slightly more visible than before, as if it had shifted while I wasn't paying attention. I froze for a second, and when I blinked again, there were more. Still completely silent. Still not moving. James Walker whispered that we should keep moving, so we did. But every time we looked forward, the space between us and them felt smaller. Like the store itself was shrinking the distance. Daniel Carter said not to look away for even a second. So I didn't. But that's when I realized the worst part. They only got closer when we weren't looking directly at them. The emergency signs stopped working. The exit doors led me back inside every single time. At first we thought it was just a glitch in the store. The emergency lights that were supposed to guide us out started flickering randomly, sometimes turning off completely, leaving only the cold white glow of the aisles. James Walker tried the first exit door. It looked normal from the outside, clearly marked, clearly leading outside. But when he opened it, it didn't go out. It led back into another aisle. We laughed nervously at first, thinking maybe we were just disoriented. But then Daniel Carter tried another door. Same result. Another aisle. Same furniture. Same endless layout. Michael Reed started checking every exit we could find. Every single one did the same thing. No matter where we turned, no matter which direction we ran, the store always looped us back inside itself. That's when we understood something was wrong. The IKEA wasn't just big anymore. It was controlling where we could go. And every exit we saw was just another way deeper inside. And then I heard the announcement over the speakers. The store is now closed. All customers will remain inside. At first, we thought it was just a normal closing announcement. A warning telling customers to head to the exit. But something about the tone felt wrong. It wasn't polite, it was final. Like it wasn't asking us to leave, but telling us we had no choice. James Walker stopped walking immediately. The sound echoed through the entire IKEA, coming from every direction at once. Not just above us, but inside the aisles themselves, like the speakers were everywhere. Daniel Carter looked at the emergency signs again, but they had all turned off completely. No lights. No guidance. Just darkness between the shelves. Michael Reed tried one more exit door, but we already knew what would happen. It opened and led right back inside. The announcement repeated again, louder this time. The store is now closed. All customers will remain inside. And that's when we realized. We weren't being told to leave anymore. We were being told to stay. Today's second story is the hotel floor that never ended. A man named Adrian Cole checked into a small hotel during a heavy storm. Everything felt normal at first: old reception desk, dim yellow lights, and empty hallways that smelled like damp wood. The receptionist handed him a key and told him his room was on the top floor. But at 2 a.m., Adrian heard footsteps above his room. Slow, heavy footsteps. At first he ignored it, thinking it was just the building settling in the storm. But the sound didn't stop. It kept moving back and forth above his ceiling, like someone was walking in circles directly over his head. The strange part was, the receptionist had clearly said this was the top floor. There shouldn't have been anyone above him. Still, the footsteps continued. Louder now. More deliberate. Like they were aware he could hear them. Adrian finally stepped out into the hallway. The hotel was silent, too silent. The lights flickered slightly as he looked toward the staircase at the end of the corridor. And that's when he noticed something wrong. The staircase wasn't going down. It was going up. The receptionist told me I was on the top floor, but I still went looking for the noise. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was just the storm outside mixing with the old building, making strange sounds travel through the walls. But the footsteps above me didn't feel random anymore. They were steady, deliberate. Like someone was walking back and forth directly over my room. So I decided to check. I opened my door slowly and stepped into the hallway. The hotel felt different now. The lights that were worn just a few minutes ago were slightly dimmer, flickering in a strange rhythm. The corridor looked longer than before, like it was stretching away from me. I walked toward the staircase at the end of the hall. The same staircase I had seen when I checked in. But now, it didn't feel familiar. It felt wrong. Because the receptionist's words kept repeating in my mind. You are on the top floor. But the footsteps above me were still there. That meant one thing. Either the receptionist was lying, or the hotel had more floors than it was supposed to. At the end of the hallway, I found a staircase that shouldn't exist. It led up. At first, I just stood there staring at it. The hallway behind me felt longer than before, like the hotel didn't want me to go back. The lights above were flickering more aggressively now, casting strange moving shadows on the walls. The staircase itself looked old, but untouched. Like it hadn't been used in years, or maybe it was never meant to be seen at all. That's when I noticed something at the edge of my vision. Between the hallway lights, a tall black shape. Completely still. No face. No details. Just a thick, featureless presence standing where the shadows shouldn't be. I looked directly at it, nothing. I blinked. It was gone. But when I turned back toward the staircase, it was standing closer. Not moving. Just existing. Waiting near the stairs like it had always been there, and I was the one who wasn't supposed to notice it. One floor became 2, then 5, then more. Every floor looked exactly the same, but darker each time. The higher I climbed, the colder the hotel became. The lights flickered harder, the hallways grew quieter, and on every floor, more tall black ghosts stood outside the rooms, completely still, watching me in silence. Then I saw them, tall black figures standing outside the rooms. Motionless. Waiting. They stood beside the doors on every floor, completely silent under the flickering lights. No faces. No movement. Just tall black ghosts staring from the darkness, as if they had been waiting for someone to finally reach this part of the hotel. At the final floor, every single room door slowly opened at the same time. The hallway lights flickered violently as the doors creaked open one by one. Inside every room stood tall black ghosts completely motionless in the darkness, all facing toward Adrian Cole like they had been waiting for him to finally arrive. Today's final story is the subway platform beneath the station. A 26-year-old subway maintenance worker named Evelyn Carter was working late at an underground station after midnight. Most of the trains had already stopped running, and the station was almost completely empty. While checking a maintenance hallway behind platform 6, Evelyn noticed something strange, an old metal door she had never seen before. The door was hidden behind pipes and warning signs, almost like it wasn't supposed to be found. Curious, she pulled it open. Behind it was a narrow concrete staircase leading deep underground into complete darkness. The stairs kept going down, far deeper than any subway line should exist. At first, Evelyn Carter thought it was just an abandoned maintenance level hidden beneath the station. But after several minutes of descending, the staircase still hadn't ended. The air became colder, the walls wetter, and the sounds of the subway above completely disappeared. It no longer felt like part of the city anymore. It felt like she was descending into something buried far below it. At the bottom, Evelyn Carter found a subway platform. But it wasn't on any station map. The space was enormous, far larger than any underground platform should have been. Endless tracks disappeared into darkness on both sides while cold fog drifted through the silent station. The ceiling stretched so high above her flashlight couldn't even reach it. And the deeper she looked into the platform, the less it felt human. Then I saw them, hundreds of tall black figures standing between the tracks. Completely still. At first, Evelyn Carter thought they were just shadows created by the weak station lights and drifting fog. The platform was so massive that darkness covered most of it anyway. But then her flashlight passed across the tracks again, and the shapes were still there. Hundreds of them. Tall black ghosts standing silently between the endless rails below. None of them moved. None of them made a sound. They simply stood there in perfect stillness, scattered across the platform like they had been waiting underground for years. Evelyn slowly stepped backward, trying not to make noise. But the deeper her flashlight reached into the station, the more of them she saw emerging from the darkness. Some stood near the tracks. Some farther down the platform. And others barely visible inside the thick fog beyond the lights. The most terrifying part was that they weren't looking at each other. Every single one of them was facing her. A train arrived, but there was no sound. No wind. No movement. Just silence. Out of the darkness, a long black train slowly emerged onto the platform without making a single noise. And as it stopped beside the tracks, the hundreds of black ghosts turned toward it at the exact same time. And when the doors opened, every single shadow on the platform turned toward me at the exact same time. The train doors slid open in complete silence. No passengers. No lights inside. Just darkness filling the entire train. And the moment the doors opened, the hundreds of black ghosts slowly turned toward Evelyn Carter together, like they had finally noticed she was there. This was episode 134 of Dynamic Dark. Which story ruined your night? Tell us in the comments. The most terrifying comment will be pinned. Episode 135 is coming. Indian horror stories are even darker and more cursed. Like, subscribe and press the bell icon. If you dare to step into the darkness again. Everyday new horror episode at 7:45 p.m. only on Dynamic Dark.